Hello everyone and welcome to a Doctor Who review with me, John Parker, and...
Me, Jack Howling, and
Who am I again?
I don't know who are you? Who are you? You mysterious man. Right. So here we are, episode 9. It Takes You Away, written by Ed Heim. The Doctor and crew travel to Norway for whatever their reason was for going to Norway, and where they miraculously discover an abandoned, I'll call it a hut. It was more like a bungalow hut, whatever you want to call it. And because
Shack.
it just... Shack, yes. I like that, shack. And because it just looked a little bit off, they decided to go and investigate as something might be, wrong. Which, of course, there was. Inside, it was pretty much run down, almost abandoned, apart from one person currently living there. A young girl who had lost her father to a beast in the woods, I suppose they best described it. A beast that actually turned out to be nothing more than just a basic recording. That was very anticlimactic, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's where we then soon discovered that there was just this random mirror which had a special ability to transport you into kind of like it was kind of like a spatial tunnel. Of course, they called it the what did they call it? The anti-something. I've actually forgot the name.
It was the anti-something.
Basically, it was the like a filter that was blocking out this separate universe. But basically, this solid tract, it was something that wanted to be part of our universe, but literally just could not fit in. Not because it was hated, but because whenever it tried to do something, it literally had the reverse effect. So it destroyed everything around it. And our universe...
Not out of its own want.
What?
It didn't want to do that.
Well,
It
no, I
tried
didn't...
to mimic the rest of the
I'm not-
universe.
Well, no. Well, that's what I'm saying. I said that it tried to fit in, it tried to come in, but it just affected, it affected everything in a bad way. Everything around it. Therefore, our universe rejected its presence, pushed it away, and locked it off. And that tunnel, or that cave, is the go-between to cross from one to the other. But I think it was more like I think the way the Doctor described it's more like a barrier, trying to protect that world from colliding with ours.
Mm-hmm.
So, upon travelling through this tunnel, they come across this weird creature who looks like he's from Star Trek and Pan's Labyrinth. Although mainly Star Trek than Pan's Labyrinth, I think. But the whole moth situation, which was a little daft. Or as Cody pointed out, what was it you pointed out?
It's effectively a rehash of the Vashtanarada. I mean, no, it doesn't rely on shadows and they don't eat things that quickly, but flesh-eating creature, that's not original.
Yeah. No, not really. I mean, if you take the shadows out of the way, you can replace the shadows with movement, because apparently if you move too fast, that's when they literally get you. So, yeah, so it is just essentially the same thing, but it's not shadows, it is just movement, noise, like bats. So, they're flesh-eating bats. So, going through the tunnel, of course, they end up in the Solid Tract universe, where it conjured up Ryan's Nan. So Grace returned in this episode.
The Nan Saga Part 4.
Part 4.
I think it's Part 4. I don't know. Might be.
Because it wanted to at least feel like it was still part of our universe. It wanted something that it could relate to, or at least, just... It just wanted to be close enough to our universe to feel like that it wasn't alone, basically. And I'm talking about universes as if, the living people. Which I suppose really you could think of that, because, nature and everything.
Technically this one was. It was a sentient being.
I mean, we've had sentient planets before, so it's not really anything new.
So one thing that I'm probably have the unpopular opinion here.
No,
but this episode is actually, in my opinion, one of the best episodes in the series. And the reason for that is because the idea is fantastic. At first, when I first
Yeah.
started watching the episode, I was skipping a little bit. I was like, "Oh, I'm not so sure. Why was the Doctor in Norway?" And also, some of the acting was a little bit rushed. So I thought, "Oh God, we're getting the same trademarks that we've had this series." But then it made sense because when we go through the anti-zone,
Antizone. There you go. You just remember the name.
that creature in there, yes, there is the question of how it got there. The Doctor actually asked it how it got there, and all he responded with is, "I've always been here," which it might sound like a bit of a lazy response in writing, and it probably was. But in a way, if you're that creature, I suppose in a way it kind of makes sense because you wouldn't really know how you got there, just like how we really don't know how we're here. So it might just be a case of that's just how it was, kind of thing. We don't actually know much of the lore when it comes to anti-zones anyway. Maybe we will in the future, but anyway, it's a new concept. So anyway, but when we go into the second universe, and one of the things that I noticed was this guy playing Eric. It felt very rushed. It felt like the writing was trying to get the answers out really quickly. I mean, she says, "Oh yeah, there's 2 plates." I was thinking, "Oh well, they're going to have to go in a little mystery find then to find out who this second person is, because that guy not going to just straight away tell him." And then instantly, the woman comes into the door, and I think that was a bit. I don't like it when shows and films do that, where it's like, "Oh, why is this?" Answer straight away. I don't like that. But
it was obvious.
Why was it obvious?
Well, because obviously he's gone off into a different universe and he's enjoying himself in this other universe, so obviously the answer is that his wife is there.
Yeah.
It wasn't obvious to me. I had no idea why he was there. But anyway, that's just how people think. I'm different. But but the point is that she comes in and she instantly says, "Yes, this, that, and the other." And the way they were speaking was... It felt, when I'm using the word rush, but I don't think that's the right word I want to use. It just felt like
Scripted.
She knows everything. Yeah, scripted. She knows everything. And I thought, at first glance, that felt bad writing, right? But then when they explained that she and Grace were part of the universe trying to fit in, it made sense. And I thought to myself, of course, it's trying to imitate those characters. And that's why it knows everything. That's why it feels like everything's just fitting into place. It's because it's like, everything's fine. I know this, I know that, everything's fine. I am that character, even though obviously we knew that they weren't. And it made sense in my head, like, if I was that universe, that consciousness, and I was trying to imitate the memories of the people who just walked in to try and make them feel happy and feel safe in that universe, then of course everything would be happy-go-lucky, everything's fine, I am that person. And it made sense to me eventually. I thought, okay, so the lazy writing can be explained a bit with that. But no, the actual idea of the episode, the idea of this whole conscious part of the laws of the universe. So you've got, as the Doctor said, you've got mathematics, light, energy, all of that had been created first, but then you had this solid tract as like a separate part that had been created, and it tried to match what had been created in the actual universe and failed, and so it was sent off into this solid tract plane. And that actually is a really cool idea. I liked it. Well, and as for the moths, yeah, okay, that was probably a little bit of a boring monster, shall we say, but it did kind of freak me out. And seeing all of a sudden that skeleton on the floor and the moth crawling out of its eye, I thought that was really cool. You know, I mean, it has some good ideas. It was fleshed out quite well, although a few things were rushed, but most of it was, I actually quite enjoyed it. I was on the edge of my seat thinking, oh, what's going to happen next? So,
I mean, I totally agree with the interesting idea of the whole separate conscious universe. But towards the end, I was just like, what the hell's going on here? It's just, I felt that things were just, they were trying to mix different things up, and it was just getting like, what point are they trying to make? I mean, it wasn't until the very end when they started to realise that this universe was trying to be part of ours and all that. That was fine, but it was the whole leading up to that. It's like, what the hell's going on? And I just started losing interest afterwards. But not only that, but I got really annoyed how, again, with Doctor Who lore, they're missing like key factors in this. For example, Sonic Screwdriver. It managed to open the bolts.
Yeah, the latches on the door.
Latches,
that didn't make
sorry.
any sense. Like, it's gone from not being able to work on wood to being able to slide over metal latches.
Well, the thing is, the Sonic Screwdriver has been seen to do more than that in the past.
To be honest,
But it was never
can
supposed
move
to.
objects
fucking take
easily.
it away again like they did in the 80s. I'm getting sick of it being overused. It's got worse and worse progressively since like series 11's this one, isn't it? Season 9, series 9, I think. It's got progressively worse since then because series 9 we had the bloody sunglasses and he used those every other minute. So yeah, no, they need to calm it with.
I do agree that the Sonic is like one of the most overused and very quick way of progressing the plot, and it's a bit of a Deus Machina? I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, it's that.
I think so. Yeah, that would be the correct term.
And Stephen Moffat was perfect at doing Deus Machinas, but this Sonic use is a little OTT, and it could have been. I mean, unlocking a door, okay, fine, yes. The Sonic Screwdriver has been done fine.
But sliding over bolts, that's too far in my opinion.
Well, how does a normal lock work? You have to rotate the tumblers.
Pins.
Exactly, so it has to be able to...
sound waves can vibrate pins and could potentially unlock the door.
Very true. And also, the door was made out of wood.
Vibrate a metal plate and slide it across. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be that quick or that clean.
I mean, you are right as well, but also the door was made out of wood, so that unless the Doctor with this new created version of Sonic is able to all of a sudden work on wood, that was also against a rule that Russell T Davies set up. So,
to be honest, they need to just remove it. Like I said, they managed it in the 80s. If anyone's ever seen Davison and Colin Baker, they never had a Sonic, and they were fine.
But yeah, I liked it. I thought the episode wasn't too bad. It had a few flaws. It always has those weird flaws. So the Sonic Screwdriver, and why did the TARDIS? That's another thing. They haven't been showing the actual landing part of the TARDIS, which is fine. But it kind of gets rid of the whole. Why are we here? You know, it's like you're just there. It's a bit of a rushed way of getting into the setting.
But then they've not in the past. They've not done that either. They'll start some episodes by just having it materialize, but there's no explanation as to why they were there.
Yeah. True. I really do think Doctor Who needs to be an hour long.
I just need to throw it in the bin.
Or at least start it from scratch.
Needs to take a break, I think.
But they need to pull them.
But if they do that and they bring it back, you know, I really do think it needs to be an hour long minimum, because we're unable to fit all the details in. It feels rushed, and
but I mean,
that's annoying to me.
Russell T Davies managed to do it, and the people he managed to hire to write stories, they managed to do it perfectly fine.
This is true, but there were still slight faults in Russell T Davies' era as well.
Yeah, but not as many as we've had so far, I think.
Yeah, well, he seems to have a bit more of a knack of fitting it into the time frame. I'll grant you that. But then again, Russell T Davies. The thing is, Russell T Davies and Julia Gardner started off Doctor Who brand new, right? So they kind of set the stones. They set the bar that we, as the watchers, were using as our way to judge the episodes. So if it's nothing like the first creators episode, we're going to obviously go.
But
technically yes and technically no. You could watch the classic series, and then watch 9 and 10. Well, at least 10's first series, and they lead into each other because the writing isn't too different, and then it gets slightly different for 10's second series, third series, and fourth series. And then the specials are sort of completely different again. And And then series 5, 6, and 7 got progressively worse. 5 started okay, 6 was meh, and then 7 got worse. And then 8, 9, and 10, which I'm counting as different from 5, 6, and 7, were different again.
I mean, I honestly just feel like I'm running out of steam, or running out of energy. Just wanting to watch Doctor Who now. I feel like I am starting to lose a fair bit of interest in the show.
It's becoming not worth it because it's getting silly.
Yeah. I mean, picking up the sword and figuring out everything, and that sheep reference. I mean, I'm starting to roll my eyes at half of those little.
That was daft.
Yes, I'm starting to roll my eyes at those sort of things. The sheep thing in about 100 years or whatever the hell it was.
183 years was it or something?
Yeah,
There's going to be some sort of sheep rebellion. It's going to be a bloodbath.
It's just cringy, and there's been quite a lot of that in this series. A lot of it.
I'll tell you what it is. The writers have gone, oh, Doctor Who, we can shove any old crap and they'll believe it.
It's really childish.
Yeah, but the thing is, they don't need to because half the kids aren't really that dumb.
Do you know what kind of killed this episode for me entirely?
What's that?
The fucking frog at the end.
No, actually, I'll tell you something.
Stupid.
I'll tell you something. When I first saw that, I thought, oh god, they've just ruined the story that I was just enjoying. But then when they explained it, that the universe was trying to match the likeness of Grace because of the fact that it liked the Grace character for some reason.
Yeah, and she liked frogs and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but think about it, right? Think about it in terms of the consciousness. It doesn't understand what the real universe is supposed to really work like. So it thought, oh, Grace likes frogs, and so therefore I'll have the voice of Grace, and she likes frogs, so I'll be a frog. But it makes sense that a consciousness would think that.
But how?
Yes, it makes sense, but it's also insulting to any intelligent viewers.
But the thing is with that, though, if the universe had no idea, how the hell does the universe know about Grace?
Because as soon as
because the idea was in Graham's head, and I think as soon as Graham entered the universe, it probably checked into his head and went, "There's something."
Bearing in mind, this is an entire universe we're talking about, so it has access to every single particle in that universe it can read. So other consciousnesses it could probably easily.
So how come we didn't try to read the Doctor's? Okay, granted, the Doctor's a Time Lord, and she's thousands of years old, but I would assume that a universal consciousness is, I'm sorry, more powerful than a single Time Lord. No matter how great the Time Lords are.
It probably did.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, that's going off on a bit of a tangent there, probably. But
I mean, she offered it everything, and it was like, okay, so then it made it all white. I don't know why it made it all white, but yeah.
I think that was more of a bargain just to get the hell out, because I think she realised, crap, I'm stuck in this
Doctor
universe.
Actually was interested. She really wanted to stay, but I think that the fact that obviously it was tearing itself apart with the fact that she had different, kind of like matter and antimatter in a way, it wasn't working out.
I mean, to be fair, I can't really make heads or tails of this episode, to be honest.
I'll tell you something, if it had been written by Stephen Moffat, we probably would have enjoyed it more. Now, I know that's a bit of a harsh sentence to say, but at least Stephen Moffat would have made it feel Doctor Who-esque.
But if
I can't argue with that.
If Stephen Moffat would have written it, first of all, the monster in the woods would have actually been a monster in the woods and not a fucking recording.
True.
Plus, we wouldn't have had the dickhead in the cave.
Yeah, take him out of the equation, right? Plus, and the episode still runs the same.
Potentially, there wouldn't have been the flesh-eating moths, because the most interesting part about the episode would have been A, the monster in the forest, and B, this mirror universe where everyone's not dead.
Well, yeah, it's a created universe, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a fictional.
But you get what I mean. If it was a different writer, we wouldn't have had the guy in the caves, the moths, and it wouldn't have been a recording.
Well, this is what I'm saying. The idea, the actual concept of the episode, fantastic. I liked it. But again, execution. There we go. That's that common word we're using in every one of our reviews now.
I mean, it seems like to me they started with a good idea and then hired an idiot to write it and direct it.
Yeah, that or Chibnall once again went through editing it as he's supposed to do as showrunner and basically tweaked it too far to.
If
we'll never know.
Chibnall's doing that's made it awful, he needs to go. I want the rumours to be true. Get out. Get good or get out.
Well, we'll see what happens anyway. We've got the last episode. Now, this is nothing. The way they worded it on the end of the BBC One, it sounded as if next episode was supposed to be the New Year's special. The way he worded it, but I don't think that's true. So I don't quite understand why he worded it like that. The guy, the BBC presenter, he worded it as if it was the special.
No, he said something like, and after this, we get to see some of the things you can enjoy over the Christmas period. So I think it's just on about the advert that they were showing after the next round trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
So anyway, guys, verdicts for the episode. What shall we give? John, out of 10.
Well, good story. Like it. Execution. I mean... The actual main scenes of inside the universe, I actually quite enjoyed. The frog bit at the end was a little bit weird, but I kind of understand what they were getting at. Yes, the creature in the anti-zone was pointless. Didn't really need it. Kind of annoying, but no, general idea, pretty good. I'll give this one a 7 because it's slightly better, but it's not really high enough to get me a higher grade there. So, yeah.
Okay, and Cody, what do you give?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know if there's any waffling I can do beforehand. It's like a 3 or a 4 because I gave a 4 to last week, and
so you just keep on par with the 4.
I don't know. I just do not know. Yeah, no, probably. We'll go with a 4.
Go with a 4. Okay.
Seems fair, I think. Maybe.
Fair enough. For me, I mean, I've already said the points that I've made that I wanted to make, and to be honest, the way the series is going, this episode, along with the past ones, my interest in it is now starting to go. But I mean, this episode, the idea was interesting. The separate consciousness, the separate universal consciousness. That was a good idea, but the build up to it, some of the points that they're making weren't necessary. Take that guy that was in the cave, the Star Trek guy, alien. Take him out of the equation. They were still going to end up in the same spot they were going to, because obviously they were looking for Hannah's dad. So there's a lot of unnecessary factors that they're putting in these episodes that just make me go, right, on board now. What's next? Come on, roll on with it, get on with it. So, but yeah. But there were some elements to the episode, I will say, that were good, but it probably weren't good enough for me, to be fair. So, I'm going to give it a 6. So yeah. And, waha, for the next episode. Can't wait.
This will be the last episode of the series.
Yeah.
But remember, I mean, I think we should have had an alarm bell ring when Chris Chibnall said, all of these episodes will be standalone. There will be no two-parters. There will be no story arc. That's the other thing that annoys me. This stems a thing.
Done that so well. He could have had a standalone, like, we've seen it before. Let's take, for example, Series 1. You had Dalek, and then you had whatever was after that wasn't related to Dalek at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they were 2 decent standalone stories.
Yes.
It's possible to do decent standalone work. It's just that Chris Chibnall is fucking shit.
I think the idea he's got is that, right, Russell T Davies has done this, Stephen Moffat has done this, I want to be so different and do it this way. Well, just hang on a minute. Don't do that. Just look back at what's been done. See if, yes, you can use at least one or two things, but more importantly, look at how other people react to past things in the last series. Don't forget about how they were written. Just look at how people have reacted to them. And use those elements, continue with them, put your own stuff in, and there you go, you've got a decent product to work with. If you just go totally random and just forget everything else, you've got problems.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean, there was a rumory type thing that, I mean, he didn't want to, I mean, actually it wasn't a rumor, he actually said he didn't want to be showrunner. And then he said when he got the part, he said, well then the Doctor has to be female. He made it, and people are coming up with these theories of it's almost as if he wanted to mess about because he was kind of forced to be showrunner in a way. Okay. So he was like, fine, then I'll change the whole theory kind of thing. But
if he didn't want it, he wouldn't have taken it.
Well,
yeah,
like there's plenty of fucking writers out there. He's not the only one. If he didn't want it, he could have not done it.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
But yes, so thank you guys for watching. We do hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next review video. So until then, we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you folks for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geeky side out. Bye bye guys.